Okay, today we're gonna go over 3 great hip flexor stretches that you're probably not doing. These all feel really good on the front side of the hip as well as the quad. The first one we're gonna get into is a couch stretch. So I have a bench set up here. You can also use a couch, a chair, anything that will allow you to prop up one foot back behind you. So I'm gonna put my right foot back on the bench here. And as I get set up, a couple important details to start. First one is I want to stay tall. What do I mean by that? My shoulder should stay above my hip, which is above my knee the whole time. So straight line here. We don't want to arch into this, okay? So stay tall and get your glute as close as you can to your heel. You'll notice I have a PVC pipe here. Well, what's the purpose of this? All I'm using this for is I put my hands in front of my chest, one on top of the other. I straighten my arms out here, okay? And the main objective of this is to keep my ribs stacked as well. So a lot of times people's ribs will flare up like this as they're doing this stretch, and that's not what we want. We want to keep our ribs stacked on top of our hips so that my ribs are pointed down and not flared up, okay? Now, as I actually get into this stretch, the biggest thing is that is going to help you feel this in the right spot, which is in the hip flexor as well as the quad, is squeezing this glute. So I want to squeeze this glute as I'm trying to drive my hip forward while staying stacked. Okay, keep the ribs stacked on top of the hips. Notice I'm reaching here just to stay stacked. And I take big breaths in and out. Now, a couple different variations here is we can move this PVC pipe around to one side or the other. Okay, so you can move it to the same side arm here, or same side leg that is up on the bench. Still, all the same things apply here, squeezing the glute, trying to stay stacked. You can also go to the other side of the body, this way. Okay, shoulders facing the PVC, squeezing the glute, staying stacked. Another one that you can try is without the PVC pipe. We set this down. I reach one hand overhead and lean into that side. A lot of times this feels really good on the hip flexor. You can also put that same side hand on the opposite side knee and reach behind you while still squeezing the glute. Okay, so this next one is a Bretzel variation. I believe this came from Greg Cook. What I'm going to do, I'm going to lay on my side. So I'm going to lay on my right side. And all I'm doing to begin is bringing my top side leg over top. Notice this knee is bent, okay? And I'm using this hand just on top of this thigh, okay? Now, I take my top side hand, so it's my left hand, and I use that to grab my bottom side foot, so my right foot. Now, important detail here is I'm not done. I need to drop this foot down towards the mat or down towards the floor. And then all I'm doing as I lay my head back, my head should be on the same line as my hips, so my spine is in a neutral position. I lay my head back, I drop this foot to the floor, I use my right hand to grab my left knee, and I'm trying to pull my heel to my butt. Now, again, common theme with these hip flexor stretches is you need to be sure to squeeze the glute, squeeze your butt cheek. That is really what's going to intensify these stretches and allow you to feel them in the front of the hip and in the quad where you want to feel them. Big breaths in here. Now, something you can do, you'll notice I have this pad here, okay? In an ideal world, this knee is all the way down towards the turf, okay? I'm not that flexible, so I'm using this pad to put this right underneath this knee so that this leg can relax and I can focus on pulling this heel to my butt. You can also use for this, you can use a yoga block, you can use a stack of books, a can of beans, anything that's going to let you relax this leg on top of it so you can really focus on just pulling this heel to the butt and squeezing the glute. Okay, third one here is just a banded hip flexor stretch, okay? So I'm using this purple band here, probably 3/4 of an inch, okay? You want a band that's gonna give you a decent amount of resistance, but not too much, okay? So I'm gonna get set up. I'm gonna lay on one side, so I'm gonna lay on my left side, which means I'm gonna be stretching my right leg, okay? I'm gonna loop this band around the ball of my foot so that I'm here, okay? And now all I'm gonna do, watch as I transition, as I pull my heel to my butt, the band goes from the bottom side of my foot to the top side of my foot as I point my toes, okay? Now, I stay on this side. Notice my bottom knee is bent at about a 90-degree angle, and I'm pulling this band over my bottom side shoulder, okay? So I'm here. I straighten out my bottom side leg as I get into the stretch. I keep my knees together, and again, I'm squeezing my glute, and I'm trying to get my hip forward. The more you pull that band, the closer your heel is going to get to your butt, and the more of a stretch you should feel in the front side of the hip and in the quad. Now, a little secret detail here, something that might help you feel this in different areas of the hip flexor, is you can adjust the angle of your top side leg here. Okay, so you don't have to keep your knees together the whole time. If you raise this knee up like this, kind of reaches a different area of that hip flexor, it stretches it at a different angle, and you can find different spots here that are tighter than others. And if you do, just focus on that area and really focus on taking deep breaths in, long exhales out, and getting deeper into the stretch every time you exhale. Okay, so 3 great hip flexor stretch options there, all kind of different setups, but again, you should feel all of those in the front side of the hip and the quad, okay? So you'll notice I only did those all on my right side. Make sure that you do them on both sides. As always, if you found anything useful, leave me a like, throw me a subscribe, give me any suggestions down in the comments for specific body parts that you want mobility-wise, and we'll see you in the next one.